Are you looking for some inspiration on how to create a width-inspired logo using Illustrator? If your answer is yes, then you're in the right place. Hi there everyone, my name is Andrei Marius. I've been working in Illustrator for over 10 years, and in this Envato Tuts Plus tutorial, I'll put my experience to use as I show you step by step how you can create this 420 logo using Adobe Illustrator. To complete this tutorial, you'll need this cotton cloud font from Envato Elements, so make sure to check out Envato Elements where you can get unlimited downloads of stock videos, music, graphics, including with logos, photos, fonts, and many more, all ready to use and with simple commercial licensing. You can subscribe right now with the link in the description. Let's move to Illustrator to create a new document. Select pixels from this drop-down menu, set the width to 880 pixels and the height to 600 pixels. Make sure that the color mode is set to RGB and the resolution to 72 pixels per inch, and then you can click this button to create your new document. Press Ctrl and 0 to fit the artboard on your entire screen. Go to Window in the menu bar, and for the beginning make sure that the control panel is active, and then open all the panels that have this check mark. When you're done, go to View and Show Grid to enable the grid. Go again to View, but this time to Snap to Grid, which will enable the Snap to Grid feature. And for this tutorial, you need a grid line every 5 pixels, so let's go to Edit, Preferences, Guides and Grid. Enter 5 in this grid line every box. Click OK to apply the changes. You can press Ctrl and plus to zoom in a bit more, and start by selecting the type tool from your toolbar to add the text. Move to the control panel and select that cotton cloud font which you got from Envato Elements. Increase the size of the text to 275 and just click on your artboard to type in 420 and a point. Press the Escape key to easily switch to the selection tool. Return to the control panel and make sure that the alignment is set to artboard. And simply click these two buttons to easily move your text in the center of the artboard. Let's change the color of this text to 19, 41, and 15. And then go to Type and create outlines to turn your text into vector shapes. Press Shift Ctrl and G to ungroup this resulting group of shapes. Select just this 4 shape and press Ctrl C and then Ctrl F to add a copy in front. With this copy selected, let's switch to the direct selection tool and select one of these outside anchor points. Press the delete key once to delete this point, and then one more time to delete all of the outside anchor points. You'll end up with a new shape which fills your number 4. Keep it selected and replace the fill color with 241, 251, and 255. And now let's repeat the same techniques for the rest of the shapes. Start with the 2, select it and press Ctrl C and Ctrl F to add a copy in front. Select one of these outside points and press the delete key twice. Select the resulting shape and fill it with this same color. You can hold down the Alt key, click this target icon and drag it on top of this one to easily fill your selected shape with this same fill color. Move to the next shape and select it. Again, press Ctrl C and Ctrl F to add a copy in front. Select an outside point and press the delete key twice. For this resulting shape, you'll also need to select one of these inside points and press the delete key twice. Now select the remaining shape and fill it with the same fill color that you used for these 2 shapes. And finally select this little cloud shape, add a copy in front as you did for the rest of the shapes. Select an outside point and press the delete key twice. Select the resulting shape and let's fill it with this same fill color. When you're done, return to these shapes and select this one. Hold down the Shift key to add to your selection this shape and this one. Go to Object, Compound Path and Make to turn your selected shapes into a single compound path. Now select these 3 shapes and again turn them into a compound path. Drag it on top of your first compound path. Select this bottom compound path and let's focus on the appearance panel to further stylize it. First of all, click this button to add a second fill for your selected path. Select the bottom fill and replace the color with white. Select this top fill and go to Effect, Path and Offset Path. Set the offset to -4 pixels and click OK. Reselect this top fill and go again to Effect, but this time to Distort and Transform. Drag both of these move sliders to 6 pixels, which will move your selected fill 6 pixels down and 6 pixels to the right. Click OK to apply this effect. Return to the appearance panel and select the stroke. Let's increase the weight to 10 points and set the color to 186, 213 and 242. Open the stroke flyout panel and from this drop down menu let's select width profile number 2. And let's continue with the ellipse tool from your toolbar. Simply click on your artboard to create a 20 pixel circle. Select the stroke and remove the color. Select the fill and replace the color with 166, 223 and 232. Use the selection tool to move this shape in this location. Hold down the Alt key and drag a copy in this position and another copy in this location. Reselect the ellipse tool and this time use it to create a 15 pixel circle. Move this shape in this position, add a copy in this location and one more copy in this location. Reselect the ellipse tool and this time use it to create a 20 by 15 pixel shape. Move it in this position and drag a copy somewhere around this area. And now you need to select all of these shapes. Remember to hold down the Shift key to add to your selection each shape. Now move to the appearance panel to stylize these shapes. Start by selecting the stroke and increase the weight to 4 points. Replace the color with 19, 41 and 15. Select the fill and add a new one on top of it. Keep this new fill selected and replace the color with white and then go to Effect, Path and Offset Path. Set the offset to -3 pixels. Click OK to apply the effect. Make sure that your white fill is still selected and go again to Effect, but this time Distort and Transform. Drag this move vertical slider to -3 pixels, which will move your white fill 3 pixels up. Click OK to apply the second effect. Now make sure that your entire path is selected and go to Effect, Warp and Flag. Check this horizontal box and set the bend to only 3%. Click OK to apply this effect. You can also press Ctrl and G to group all of these shapes. And let's continue with this shape. Select it and focus on the appearance panel. Select the fill and add a new one on top of it. Select the bottom fill and replace the color with white. Reselect the top fill and go again to Effect, Path and Offset Path. Set the offset to -3 pixels. Click OK to apply this effect. Reselect this top fill and go to Effect, Distort and Transform. Drag both of these move sliders to 2 pixels to move your selected fill 2 pixels down and 2 pixels to the right. Click OK to apply this second effect. Now let's select both of these shapes and press Ctrl G to group them. Drag this group somewhere around this area. Hold down the Alt key and add a copy somewhere around this point. Let's rotate this group like this. Now hold down the Shift key to select both of these groups. Go to Effect, Stylize and Drop Shadow. Keep the blending mode set to multiply. Lower the opacity to 15%. Set both offset values to 5 pixels. Lower the blur to 0 pixels. Replace this color with 19, 41 and 15. Click OK and OK to apply this effect. And let's continue with the rectangle tool from your toolbar to create the joint. Again, you can click on your artboard to create a 50 by 10 pixels shape. Fill it with 248, 239 and 222. Make sure that the entire path is selected so that the effect which you're about to add will be applied to the entire path, not just a stroke or a fill. Let's go to Effect, Warp and Bulge. Check this vertical box and drag the bend slider all the way to 100%. Click OK to apply this effect. Click again on your artboard and this time create a 160 by 10 pixels shape. Fill this new rectangle with 196, 176 and 139. Let's use the selection tool to place this rectangle in this exact location. Select it and go to Object, Path and add anchor points. Use the direct selection tool to select just this middle point. Now you can press Ctrl and plus to zoom in on this section. For the next few steps, you'll need a grid line every 1 pixel. So go again to Edit, Preferences, Guides and Grid. Enter 1 pixel in this grid line every box. Click OK. Make sure that this point is still selected and drag it 3 pixels to the right like this. Continue with the ellipse tool. Click on your artboard to create a 6 by 8 pixel shape. Fill it with 190, 30 and 45. Now use the selection tool to place this shape in this exact location. Reselect the direct selection tool and use it to select just this point. Drag it 2 pixels to the right like this. Now switch to the anchor point tool and click these 2 points to turn them into sharp points. Press Ctrl and 0 to zoom back on your entire artboard. Select all of these shapes and press Ctrl and plus a few times to zoom in on them. Now select just this shape and go to Effect, Warp and Bulge. Keep these settings, click OK to apply the effect. Reselect all of these shapes and press Ctrl and G to group them. Feel free to disable the grid. Make sure that your group stays selected and go to Effect, Warp and Arc. Check this vertical box and drag the bend slider to -5%. Click OK to apply this effect. Now go to Effect, Distort and Transform and Roughen. Check the absolute and smooth boxes. Lower the size to 1 and the detail to 5. Click OK to apply this effect. And now let's use the direct selection tool to select the shapes from your group one by one and further stylize them. You can start with this one, select it and focus on the appearance panel. Select the fill and add a new one on top of it. Select the bottom one and replace the color with 196, 176 and 139. Select the top one and go to Effect, Distort and Transform and Transform. First of all, make sure that you check this top middle reference point. Drag the scale horizontal slider to 80% and the vertical one to 65%. Click OK to apply the effect. Return to the appearance panel to select the stroke. Increase the weight to 4 points and replace the color with 19, 41 and 15. And now you can move to the second shape. Select it and focus on the appearance panel. Again, add a new fill. Select the top one and replace the color with 248, 239 and 222. Again, apply a transform effect. For this one, you need to check again the top middle reference point. Keep the scale horizontal slider at 100%, but lower the vertical one to 75%. Click OK to apply this effect. Return to the appearance panel and apply that same 4-point stroke and keep this color. And then finally select this red shape. Move to the appearance panel to add a second fill just as you did with the other two shapes. Change the color of this new fill to 241, 90 and 41. Let's apply a transform effect for this new fill. Remember to check this top middle reference point. Set both of these scale sliders to 70% and drag the move horizontal slider to 1 pixel. Click OK to apply the effect. Move to the stroke and apply that same 4-point stroke. To fix this small glitch, let's open the stroke flyer panel and check this round join button. And now you can press Ctrl and 0 to zoom back on your entire artboard. Use the selection tool to move this group somewhere around this area. When you're done, select your entire design and press Ctrl G to group it. Click again these two buttons to easily move your design in the center of the artboard. And let's continue with the rectangle tool from your toolbar to create the background. All you have to do is create a shape that will cover your entire artboard. Center it again using these two buttons. Select the stroke and remove the color. Select the fill and replace it with 147, 203, and 86. Move to the layers panel to quickly drag this rectangle below your design. Now use the selection tool to select your design and go to Effect, Stylize, and Drop Shadow to apply a subtle drop shadow effect. You need to change the blending mode to soft light, increase the opacity to 50%, leave the horizontal offset set to 5 pixels, but increase the vertical one to 10 pixels. Leave the blur as it is, replace this color with black, click OK and OK to apply this effect, and with this final touch, your design is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Remember to hit that like button as it helps me know that I did a good job. Subscribe if you aren't already, and don't forget to click that little bell icon to be notified of any new tutorials. I'm Andrei Marius, and I'll see you in the next video.